Thank you for tuning in to the Patricia Show. My name is Patricia. Please press like, subscribe, and share. Share this video with someone who you may think need it. Why are we here? People forget that you're in a physical body. You are the spirit that occupies a physical body. In order to come to earth or reincarnate on earth, you must have a physical body. When God created this earth, everything in it or that can come in this atmosphere has to have an atom, an electron in it. So your spirit cannot just manifest on this physical earth. I guess you would just be floating in the air somewhere. You couldn't be solid. So everything on this earth has to be solid. It has atom in it, an atom. Everything on this planet has an atom. Now, not all souls in the beginning of time wanted to come to earth. So there are some spirits that have never incarnated on earth at all. The ones who did choose to come on earth, when they come on earth, and let's say you do something to unbalance your energy, that energy has to be rebalanced before you can stop reincarnating on this earth. Let me put it another way. When you decide as a spirit to come to this earth, you're on what you call the wheel of reincarnation. Okay? So you're going to keep coming to this earth until you reach the spiritual growth that you're seeking or learned the lessons that you needed to learn. The first time you entered onto this earth, whether you were a man and a woman, because when you reincarnate, some lives you're going to be a man, some lives you're going to be a woman. Let's say you do something let's say you were a slave master, okay? You were other things in your life, but let's use a slave master because I was thinking about this the other day. If you were a slave master doing slavery time, that means that you did not allow people to exercise their free will. Because a slave master, you're keeping those slaves on your property against their will. You're not saying, okay, slave, you could just go on and go up to north or wherever you want to go. No, if they leave, you're going to have someone hunt them down and bring them back. So if you were a slave master, you were holding people against their will. Okay, so that's a karmer. So you've created a karmer. So now you're going to be, that's one. But throughout your life, throughout your lifetimes, you're going to create many karmers. So you have to balance that karma eventually before you get off the wheel of reincarnation. So in one of your lifetimes, someone will have you in a position that is against your will, because then you'll be balancing that karma out, or balancing the energy, whichever way you want to put it, that you have unbalanced when you made them a slave. Okay? So let's say you've accumulated a lot of thousands and thousands of karmas throughout all of your lifetimes from the beginning on this earth. In your last life off the wheel of reincarnation, you have to transmute 51% of your karmas before you can get off that wheel of reincarnation. So in your last life, all of the things that you have did, 51% of the things that you have did that you didn't balance out in your other lives, then that 51% or whatever that is, it could be 30%, 20%, whatever it is, the total is 51%, has to be balanced before you can get off the wheel of reincarnation. So let's say your last life is going to be quite difficult because you have all these things coming against you where you didn't balance before. So let's say the life that you had as a slave owner, you didn't balance that karma out by keeping slaves. So then your last life, that is one of the karmas that you'll have to balance out. In other words, someone will have you in the position where they're controlling you, and you will not be able to exercise your free will because you need to learn what it feels like to do that to someone, because you did that to someone. You have to feel the pain and the suffering that they went through when you did it to them. Okay. So now when all of that is complete and you balance that, then you're free and you're off the wheel of reincarnation. The problems that we have in our life, the more severe problems that we can't seem to conquer right away, those are karmas. I remember reading this article a long time ago about Anthony Hopkins. He was the actor who played in Silence of the Lamb. He was, I guess, he was a really bad alcoholic in his earlier days. So, some type of way he was drinking this one time, well, the last time he was drinking, and he fell. I don't know if he said he fell on the ground or fell on the floor, but he fell. When he fell, he heard this voice saying, "It's done," or "it was complete." And he never picked up another drink since then. He's been sober since then. I remember I was on my spiritual path when I had read that, and I thought that when people drink or use alcohol, drink or use drugs, that maybe they had addictive personality. But when I heard Anthony Hopkins say that, I thought to myself, oh, that makes sense. That was a karma. And it was actually his higher self was actually telling him that it was complete, meaning the karma was over, so then he wouldn't drink anymore. He didn't have to go back and drink anymore. Now, when you think about it, people who are on drugs or alcohol, I don't care how many times you take them to rehab, they're usually not cured right away. And even when they decide that they want to go and get cured, they usually have to go more than one time. And I just thought about that. And I thought maybe it's because it's a karma. It's some lesson that they need to learn about this. Because let me tell you something. When you are judgmental towards other people, their drug addictions or their alcohol or whatever it is, you are placing yourself in judgment, and so therefore you will have to go through what they're going through. That is a karma because you're passing judgment, and thou shalt not judge. So I don't know what Anthony Hopkins did in his life to acquire that karma, but it just made me really become or understand more that, yeah, those are karmas. And then as I went on, my spiritual growth, I did get that, I guess, verification from within myself that was correct. And it's basically any difficulties, like I just stated, that you're having a hard time conquering, those are karmas. And you're not going to finish, um, you might as well greet them with love and try to learn the lesson, because it's not going to go away until the karma is complete. My daughter was saying something, because I like to watch those investigative programs where the lady or the man, somebody's getting killed in a relationship and stuff like that. I like to watch those kind of murder um, documentaries. So if you've noticed, I was telling my daughter, if you tell someone, if you have a friend and her boyfriend is threatening to kill her or something like that, and you tell her and she, you say, well, maybe you should get out of town, and she get out of town and she leaves, 9 times out of 10, she'll be okay. That's not a karma. But if she says, like, I'm not going anywhere, he's not going to chase me out of my city where I live. And it's really a dangerous situation. But you could talk to the person and try to make them leave, but they won't. And I think it's because something is holding them there, because this murder is meant to be. It is a karmatic. Maybe that lady killed that man or something in another life, and now that man has come back to kill her. And then what always seems to happen is the man do end up, or the woman, whichever one, they do end up getting killed by their spouse usually. And it's like they could feel like they want to leave, but it's like they can't leave. Something is not allowing them to leave. That's a karma. That is a karma. So think about the difficulties, or the really rough challenges that you're having in your life, and you just can't seem to conquer it, whether it's drugs, whether it's releasing a relationship that you know is no good for you. Just think about that. Why do you think you're having such a difficult time with that issue? what what is it that's making you not be able to move on or release it? What Because usually it's a karma. So what you need to do is think about what you're going through. Look for the lessons in what you're going through. Forgive yourself, and then ask God to have, all people forgive you that was involved, and try to release that karma. So last week I put a couple of things on the air with some instructions and the directions that you could have looked at to transmute karmas. So go back and look at that from last week's broadcast and follow the instructions to try to release the karmas. Because if you don't release the karmas are just going to, be there to, I guess, till you learn your lesson, till they're complete. And then it'll be over and done. There is some more information I could give you on consuming karmas. But first of all, I'll put it on the next show. Or the next time I talk about this. But do go in and look at last week's show. And I think I put 2 examples to transmute karmas. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Patricia Show. Have a wonderful week.